Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Happy New Year. This is the Purple and Gold pregame show. I am your host, Justin in Rochester with Purple and Gold for days, and I have a very, very special guest this evening. I wasn't going to do this solo. I needed a little bit of moral support. I got my guy Dave from Vikings First and SKOL to join me here, and Dave is going to keep me on track tonight. We are going to get in and out of here in under a half an hour, not 45 minutes, so that everybody's got time to get to whatever festivities they may be going to. But let me just be clear right off the bat. If you are leaving your house tonight, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe. If you're going to get your drinks on, okay, it's New Year's Eve. We understand that. And to a certain extent, responsibly, we encourage such things. But get yourself a sober ride home. Stay safe. We're going to be celebrating a Vikings victory over the Green Bay Packers, but we don't need anybody getting hurt. Dave, how are you this evening, my good friend?
I'm doing great. Can't wait for this game against the dreaded rival, the border battle, whatever it is, 127 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, somewhere in there.
And I hope we stomp them out of them.
You are correct. Okay. You all know how I start my show, but before we do that, we do have some unfortunate news to pass along here. A member of our Vikings community was called home on Friday. Many of you know the man who goes by the handle, and I'm drawing a blank.
Sir
Death. Unfortunately, don't know the details, but his 21-year-old daughter, Justice, passed away on Friday. He is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, members of this Vikings community. He's always at the tailgates. Big guy, muscles out of his ears, tattoo out of his muscles, and all that other good stuff. Obviously, life is far more important than football, even in any stretch of the imagination. So when we start off tonight, we say everybody stay safe. If you know Sir Death, he has said that he's not going to be active on social for a while, if not ever again. Who the heck knows? There is nothing more painful than to have to bury a child as a parent. And I don't want to beleaguer this too much, but I felt compelled to give a little shout out to Sir Death and his daughter Justice to say whatever the situation was, don't know. But for right now, everybody, let's take a moment, prayers up, and thoughts and prayers and condolences to Sir Death and his family, if we could. All righty. With all that being said, part two. Dave, it is an honor to have you here with me tonight, and it is an honor to go through my opening segment with a member that belongs to one of these groups. This is not me grandstanding, ladies and gentlemen. This is just me saying a few thank yous. We're talking about to the active and veteran members of all of our armed forces for their continued efforts to fight for and to hold on to the freedoms that make this country the best country on the planet, as well as a shout out to their family members who have to give up time with their loved ones so that we can be free. A shout out to the brave men and women who serve in law enforcement, firefighters, and EMS, who in times of tragedy are the ones running towards the danger, while the rest of us are just simply trying to get away from it. And as always, to the doctors, nurses, surgeons, home health care providers, frontline workers, taking care of us in our time of medical need. Your Super Bowl is saving a life. The brave men and women that I have shouted out here tonight and that I do at the start of every one of my shows do not oftentimes get thanked enough because they can at times work very thankless jobs. So we're going to start off by saying thank you to them. Dave, as one of those as one of those veteran members, thank you so kindly for your service and everything that you did to make our country the best. Thank you so very kindly, sir.
You're welcome.
With all that being said, I haven't shouted anybody out yet, so we're gonna flip this back. See, I got all these controls. It's a lot easier when it's just me, and I got to go two-banger here, but that's all right. So let's get it out of the way. Vikings Funeral's in the building. What's going on, Vikings Funeral? Good to see you. We've got Ashley. We got the king and the queen. Viking Funeral and Ashley. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. We very, very much appreciate you. We got Frozen North. So thank you so kindly as always. We've got the matriarch, another queen, Mary in the building. What's going on, Mary? Good to see you. Good to see you as well. We got Zach. Saw him earlier over on One Barn Lubbock. Thanks for flipping over, Zach. They're not, Zach. We'll just leave it at that. They're not going to, but I digress. We got Quiet Storm Weeze in the house. What's going on? What's shaking? Hey, what's going to be shaking is the Green Bay Packers. They're going to be shaking in their boots here in less than an hour. I'll tell you that right now. We got Steve in the house. What's going on? There's no reason next season will be any better without. Yeah, he said that in One Bar's chat too. He wants KOC out and Harbaugh in. I don't think that's going to happen. That's just definitely not the Wilfs way. Yeah, prayers up, as you say, Vikings funeral. It's just unbelievable. But all right, we'll leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. My guy Rap is in the house. What's going on? Join Rap's watch party. He's doing a live watch party tonight. So after we are done here, go on over to Purple Pocket Podcast. If you don't already subscribe to my guy Rap, hit him up with a sub as well. All righty. Green Bay going down. You are correct, me boy. You are correct. Shout out to Vikings First and SKOL Day. Nah, I'm just kidding. You're already in the building, Dave. You're already in the building. But if you don't subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL on the YouTube page, hit them up with a sub, as well as on your favorite podcast aggregator. I make some appearances there, and that is on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. Vikings fan 123, what is going on? Good evening. Cannot wait to beat the Packers. You are absolutely correct. Shout out Cody. JJ will go off on the Packers. You are correct. You are for dang Skippy. All righty. Dave, I'm not going to do the slides. Let's just you and I freestyle it here. Jaren Mahomes Hall gets his first start at US Bank Stadium, his second of his career, had only 2 drives against Atlanta. We've been clamoring for it for a long time. I said it in the offseason that if you lose Cousins for the year, you don't mess around with Nick Mullins or whoever else slappy you bring in. You give Jaren Mahomes Hall the opportunity to show us that he's got something or that he doesn't. Your thoughts on Jaren Mahomes Hall and what you feel he's going to do tonight?
What he's going to do tonight is he's going to go out there and he's going to play, I think, some efficient football like we saw in that second drive versus Atlanta. He's going to take passes when they're open. He's going to run if he has to run, and he has that ability, which I look forward to. Now, is he going to be gunning it downfield like Nick Mullins did? Not so much. I don't see that, but it all depends on what the Packers defense does and the answer to that, right? If they play base like happened last week, you're going to see longer shots. If they want to give up that dink and dunk in the front like they tend to do, that's what we're going to see is those shorter routes. And I suspect we're going to see the shorter routes to start off with, whether they be screens, which we haven't been good at, which is surprising, or just little crossers over the middle. I expect to see a lot of those to get him in rhythm to start. And I want to see that. I want to see him get in rhythm, and I think we'll be just fine against that defense. So that's what I'm hoping from him. I'm hoping for a good game. Hopefully 250 yards, a few touchdowns, no interceptions. All that would be nice. That'd be sweet.
And no interceptions to me is the key. This Vikings team, regardless of whether it has been Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, this team has been plagued by turnovers this season, unlike any I have seen as a Vikings team in a long time. And if you look at their games, when they win the turnover battle, they win. And when they lose, they lose. I mean, it's football 101, but they have personified the turnovers being their killers. Everybody wants to talk about, well, we're the only team that hasn't gotten blown out, and if we just cut down on these turnovers, we could have won every game. Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda, copyright Taylor Swift and anybody else on the planet. Doesn't do you any good. So what I see offensively, so let's break down the whole offense. The Packers are the 3rd worst team against the run. I believe Alexander Mattison is playing. Is that correct?
He is playing, but I expect Ty Chandler to be the starter.
I certainly hope so. And all I'm going to say to Kevin O'Connell about the running game is this. 2 things. 1, stick with it. 11 carries last week, 2 of which were scrambles by Nick Mullins. So 9 total plays to your running backs is not going to get it done, particularly against a team that is this bad against the run. You have to start by getting the run game going. That is what they always say about young quarterbacks, a running game and a good tight end. You have got to establish the run. You have got to not abandon it. I know Kevin O'Connell wants to be this pass-happy guy. That's all well and good when you have somebody like Kirk Cousins. You need to get Jaren Hall in rhythm, and the best way to do that is to get the running game going. But the other thing I don't want to see, and I will lose my mind if they do, if you go back to having Alexander Mattison having the bulk of the carries, and again, against the Denver Broncos, another bad rush defense, both Ty Chandler and Alexander Mattison had good games. But if it's not apparent to everybody on the planet at this point, Ty Chandler needs to be the starting running back, and he needs to get at minimum 60 to 65% of the carries, I think. So,
yeah. Hey, but the partial key to that is the offensive line having a good night.
Yes.
You know how I love my round bellies.
Big round bellies.
got Brian O'Neill will be back starting in his normal spot on the right side. Josh Oliver's probably going to have the biggest snap count of his career tonight. He will be playing a ton of football. And then you'll have Johnny Munt, who's better probably at blocking than he is at pass catching on the other side when they go with 2 tight end sets. So those guys together, if that offensive line gains a little bit of attitude tonight,
let's go beat the snot out of somebody.
Go push those Packers back and back and back and back and back and back and back. And it's an easy way to win. If the offensive line wins those contests, so do the Vikings.
Kenny Clark is still Kenny Clark, but he's not Kenny Clark of 3-4 years ago. And realistically, okay, Rashawn Gary is somebody you're going to have to deal with there too. But realistically, if this offensive line can just win an average amount, there should be no reason, in my opinion, that you shouldn't have at least 30 points on the board. Justin Jefferson needs 177 yards over the last 2 games to still equip the 1,000 mark, which would be an incredible accomplishment considering that he missed pert near half the season and lost his starting quarterback. How do you see Justin Jefferson this evening with no Jair Alexander? Although you could argue that it might have been better for Jair Alexander to be out there for us. But your thoughts on Justin Jefferson and what he's going to do with yet another quarterback?
Well, I think he's a little disappointed that Jair's not going to be there because he wanted to show him once again who is boss. I think he's going to do well. And don't forget, Jordan Addison's going to be out there too.
Yes.
And Jordan Addison is 3 yards ahead of JJ when it comes to getting that 1,000 yards. And I hope they both do between tonight and next week. I hope they both cross that threshold. And it's sad that TJ Hawkinson couldn't have been there as well because he would have as well. And it would have been nice to claim, even with all these quarterbacks, that we have 3 1,000-yard receivers. Well, let's go for 2 now. And I'm all for that. I think JJ and JA, for that matter, could have a big night tonight because the Packers defense is not good.
No.
And they tend to give up a lot, and they'll give up a lot after the catch. And both those guys are good after the catch.
I think the biggest key to this game is just get Jaren Hall in rhythm. We don't need to try to go hitting home runs early, like you said. Take the short underneath stuff. Protect the ball. And once, if you can get that running game established after running the ball, hopefully, as well as getting some short passes, getting first downs, controlling the clock, then take your deep shots. This Packers defense against the pass is mediocre at best, somewhere in the middle of the pack. So this is all right in front of you offensively. It is all right in front of you. Let's take a couple of moments and get some housekeeping items out of the way. We're going to get some shout outs here, but if you didn't already do so, hit that like button. If you don't already subscribe, hit that subscribe button. If you could do that for me, please. Anything you can spare, any cheddar you can spare tonight will still go to the Mini Me Big Apple fundraising fund. And we still get some matches. I get some matches up until like the 1st or 2nd week of January from the Rochester Public School System. She's going to the Big Apple, as well as a little stint in Washington, D.C. So anything you all can do down, that'd be great. Mary has got some prizes. Due to the scheduling issues around the holidays, I haven't done the giveaways. We're going to do them all at once at the end of the season, but I'll throw up what I got now. And Mary did just send me what's coming up for the 3rd and final prize of what we have left here. But we are still in the drawing for this limited edition drinkware set and this really nice piece of wood art, as well as a cover for your leather chair that's got the Vikings emblem on it. So anything you can help us out with here, ladies and gentlemen, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so let's flip to see again. This is what you do with Tyler all the time. With all this behind the scenes stuff, you got to hit all these buttons and everything else. We got a bunch of people that I have to shout out because we got some new people in the building that I haven't hit up yet here, starting with, of course, Two-Tone Tony. What is going on? Thank you so kindly for joining me. We got Jonathan in the house. What's going on, Jonathan? Thank you so much for coming by. We got Swerve in the building. What is going on? Hall beat love before he will do it again. That would be outstanding. That would be absolutely outstanding. Okay. Vikings Funeral agrees we have to be able to run the ball, set up play action. Hopefully KOC will not make Hall into a statue. Yes, use his mobility, by the way. Use some mobility because you actually have some. We got a newcomer in the house. We got Red 854 Lava Fires. This is the first time. Everybody shout out to Red 854 for us. Let him feel welcome and know how we do it in this Vikings community. We very, very much appreciate you all stopping by. Thank you so very kindly. He says the problem is that everybody knows Ty Chandler should be the starter, everyone except KOC. Well, there is that. Shout out Mr. McFadden. He's got the line. 4 touchdowns and 79 yards for Jaren Hall. I would take that. Who here wouldn't take? Would you take that, Dave?
I'd take it in a heartbeat. That'd be great.
You are correct. I don't care about draft position. Just want to see Green Bay going down. Yes, we'll talk a little bit more at the end about the playoff situation now that we have all of the results in for the rest of the games earlier here. But shout out Davey Change. No tricks. No trick plays. Yes, no more trick plays. I'm kind of sick of seeing those. I totally agree. Shout out to the other Gary. Gary Olson, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. My guy, SKOL Mafia, Purple Gang. What is going on, Mafia? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on by. We got Bandino. Ain't seen you from me. What's up, Bandino? Fudge the backers. You are correct. How did you put it the other day? Pudge the fack. How did you say it?
No, puck the fackers.
Yes. There you go. My guy Ryan is here. How's it going on? Let's close out 2023 with a win. You are correct. The bane of my existence, but my guy nonetheless. Too evil to hope. What is going on? You ain't funny, Too Evil. And for anybody who doesn't know Too Evil, he's got the dry sense of humor. So no, he ain't really like that. I mean, he is, but he isn't. But that's all right. That is all right. Wow, we got some. Oh, I got some. I don't play the Sounders because I still haven't figured out the internet issues that caused me to sound like I'm underwater. But shout out Davey Change for the $10 bone super chat. Appreciate you.
And Davey's right about this.
Yeah.
Brad Allen's crew. There should be some repercussions over what happened last night.
That was. We're going to talk about that in the playoff section because that was regardless of the fact that it was one of our divisional rivals that got hosed. They got hosed. Okay, and if the Vikings had gotten hosed like that, we'd still be burning something right now. But anyway, I digress here. Yes, I see you. This thing freezes up on me. Adam is in the building. What's going on again, Adam? And he throws 20 bones at us. Thank you so very kindly, Adam. We very do much appreciate you. We got Darian in the building. What's going on? Thank you for the $10. I'll never forget this team for trusting a BYU quarterback. Hope KOC doesn't overthink this. Run the daggone ball. I totally agree. And Vikings funeral with the 50 spot. What is going on? Thank you, Vikings funeral. So very, very much. You and Ashley support the Vikings content creators like nobody else. We thank both of you so very, very much. And if I had thought about it ahead of time, I would have put on my Flash jersey. But nevertheless, thank you so much. All right, let's get on back. Before I get too far behind. Dave, you got to keep me in check here. I said we're going to keep it short, at least not 45 minutes or whatever everybody else. Let's see. Now, Red 85, 854. Here we go. Red. This is what we do. When we get a new one in the building. Anyway, I think I missed one here, but before we get on going here under the defensive side of the football, I think I missed one. I'll look at it here. Well, let's talk about the defense. Got a lot of injuries. Don't have Marcus Davenport yet again. Unfortunately lost. Hey, Mr. DJ, would you turn the music up? So right now, from a pass rush standpoint, we got Danielle Hunter, and we also have, and then we got, and don't forget, oh yeah, that's right. Blitz. This defensive line is going to need to do to Jordan Love what teams did to Josh Dobbs after about 2 weeks, which is to pressure him early, often, and surround him so that he has no escape venues. What is your biggest key to this game defensively? And then I'll give you mine.
Defensively, because we do not have front-facing edge rushers besides Danielle Hunter. Don't consider Patrick Jones one. Even if Andre Carter gets in, I don't expect that. And we don't have an interior D-line that pushes the pocket on any consistency either. The only way to compensate for that is through blitzes. So I expect Brian Flores is going to blitz a lot tonight. It worked the first time we played him, but that was to mess with Jordan Love's head. Yep. I expect tonight he's going to do it out of necessity.
I certainly hope so.
If they're successful, it's going to work. So
here's the thing I do like about Brian Flores, and here's something that I'm saying. And again, Tyler has pointed out that there are certain pass routes that can beat the blitz packages that Brian Flores has sent, but he brings 8 guys up to the line of scrimmage at least 75% of the time, and then half the time he drops out, and half the time he finally brings it. I would say this: Jordan Love, I called him a fraud. I said he wasn't going to be any good. I'm not saying that he's on the fast track to the Hall of Fame like his 2 predecessors, but he has looked serviceable and he has looked competent. I will give him that. But he doesn't have Christian Watson tonight. And at the end of the day, yes, they've got a lot of youth on that offense. And if they do develop, they could be something for years to come, but they're not there yet. Jordan Love is not capable of beating you by himself. To me, shut down their run game. Dillon and Jones, Just shut those guys down. Run blitz every play, and if they don't have the ball, then keep going to the quarterback. It's as simple as that. But if Jordan Love does happen to beat you once or twice, you live with it. But you keep the pressure on him. You get him off of his spots. But most importantly, if he gets out of the pocket, you have got to make sure you are sound in your scramble drills. Luckily, we do have Mekhi Blackman here tonight. It would have been a very interesting and tall task without both him as well as Byron Murphy Jr., who will not play tonight. But I will say this. Just keep him contained in the pocket. Don't let him scramble around. If you can do that and you can force him to stay a pocket passer with pressure around him, you can get in his head. As you mentioned earlier, Brian Flores in that game in Lambeau Field where the Vikings ultimately won 24-10, he got to him. And you can get to him again. Yes, he has played a lot better. I had the Packers dead and buried after we beat them. I said their season is over. They might as well just be playing for draft picks, and they have managed to stick around. Well, tonight, you just keep Jordan Love contained, and we put the Packers out of their misery.
Mm-hmm. And there's a little bit of thought that they may be trying to tank a little bit so they can get draft position. By all means, do that, Green Bay.
Yes, absolutely. You're free to. You are absolutely free to. Vikings fan 123 beating it. What's all on the menu tonight? What you eating tonight, Dave? I'll start with you.
I'm going simple. I'm just doing hot dogs.
Okay, fair enough. I haven't decided yet what I'm doing because I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be sticking around here or if I'm going to partake. A couple of guys are like, come on out to the bar. It's only a mile from your house. You don't have to drink tonight. I said, I don't know if I'm going to go out tonight.
Hey,
tonight.
Downtown Minneapolis is going to be crazy.
Oh, it is going to be a madhouse.
It would be all those people, yes, tailgating all day long, getting wild for the game, going to the game. It's New Year's Eve. They're going to spill out after the game, hopefully in a joyous mood because the Vikings win. And then they're going to head all down to the bars around town and get even more drunk. It's going to be fun. Everybody, make sure you have a ride.
Yes, as we said earlier. I mean, again, Minneapolis would have been a madhouse with a regular Sunday night with the Vikings and Packers. It would be a madhouse on a regular New Year's Eve night. And so when you put the two together, it's going to be two madhouses. I hope Minneapolis Finest can handle it, but I digress. Shout out G-Mac. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you. Sorry for the little bit of the delay, but we started talking there, so there you go. Yes. By the way, if you don't already subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL, do so because at the 2-minute warning, Dave will be on. I don't know yet, Dave, if I'm going to be on with you or not, so I'll let you know. But yeah, like I said, go over to Rap's show for the live watch party and come on over to Vikings First and SKOL at the 2-minute warning for their post-game show there as well. Shout out to Stupid Thing Moves every time. Shout out James. What's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so very kindly. Swerve's got a very good point. Patrick Jones absolutely is going to have to turn it up with no DJ Wanham. And oh, by the way, Marcus Davenport. Are we ever going to see Marcus Davenport again, or do you think he's done?
No. I don't know. He's done. We won't see him dressed in purple ever again.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe if we get in the playoffs and he suddenly gets an attitude, okay, I feel good and I want to play.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, we're not going to see him.
He's one of those guys like Matt Khalil. He's got all the talent in the world. He just doesn't have the desire, and he's just in it for a paycheck. And I mean nothing disparaging. I'm just saying that's what it comes across here. I got to give a double shout out. First off, shout out to SKOL for Life Barber 1975, and shout out to SKOL for Life Barber for the $10 donation he made Thursday after the show via the Cash App. So I got to shout him out at least twice here for that as well. We got Roger in the building. What is going on, Roger? Thank you so kindly for joining us. We got a house call from the doctor who's got egg rolls and wontons not leaving the house today. There you go. All right, moving on. I think I have everybody here. So, no, we got one more. We got Curtis, SKOL TYA. What's going on, Curtis? Thanks for stopping on by. Very much appreciate you. Why would anybody sign him now? I don't know. The Saints warned us. Their media people warned us. I think you had an episode on the podcast feed where they were talking the week before the game we played them. And it's like, yeah, he's really great when he plays, but he only plays a quarter of the season at best. And right now we've seen him for a grand total of 2 games. I know he's been in 3.
He's participated in 4. He's only had 2 full games.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, all right. Final thoughts here before we get to the playoffs. No, let's do the playoff section here now. So around the NFL today, a lot of things happened that were helpful to the Vikings. Number 1, the Seattle Sea Chickens lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. What does that mean? Well, we were trailing the Sea Chickens and the Rams by a game, and they controlled their own destiny. Had they won out, regardless of what happens to us, they would have been in the playoffs. Well, now with the Sea Chickens losing, the Vikings again control their own density. Copyright Back to the Future. But in all seriousness, the Vikings win their last 2 games. They are in the playoffs. Now, if the Rams were to, they did win today, and I didn't get all the yes, exactly. I didn't get all the permutations down here. I think that if the Rams win next week, that they would be the higher seed than we would. But so it's still possible if the Rams and Seattle loses next week, although they're playing Arizona, so I doubt it. It is still possible for us to get the 6th seed, which would actually be very, very beneficial to us, because if we do beat Detroit, they will be the 3 seed, and I would much rather be playing them than, say, the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. And oh, by the way, Philly lost. I don't know if you saw it or not.
To those Cardinals you just
to those about. Aforementioned Cardinals, so it is possible. But long and the short, the winner, it had the Sea Chickens won their game, then the loser of this game between the Vikings and the Packers would have been eliminated, and the winner would have been still on the outside looking in and needing some help next week. But with the Chickens losing, the Vikings are control of their own destiny again. Do you think we're going to be able to pull this off, or do we still got to do one game at a time here, Dave?
Well, one game at a time. But I do believe if we win tonight, I still think we may eliminate the Packers. And that would warm the cockles of my heart if that was the case. And it boosts Chicago, because Chicago won today too.
Right.
And Justin Fields looked great. So they're stuck with their own quandary of what to do with Justin Fields and their coaching staff and everybody else, and they keep winning here in the second half of the season. So who knows? They did secure the number 1 pick with the Cardinals win today. So
that's right, they did. You are correct. All right, so let me just run the permutations one more time. Yes, if the Vikings win tonight, that would put the Packers at 7-9, and as such, would that eliminate them?
I think so when it comes to tiebreakers, but I'm not sure.
Let's see here. I believe it does. So, yes. Happy New Year, Packers. Let's just beat them and put them out of their misery. As far as the rest of the playoffs pictures, I'll do that tomorrow during SKOL for Days. But having said that, everything is in front of you. Now, again, if you find a way to beat the Green Bay Packers tonight, you may still be able to sneak into the playoffs if you lose to the Lions. But we're not going to talk about that. You would need, if Seattle lost to the Cardinals, you'd be able to get in that way. But we don't want to talk that way. Right now, all we're going to talk about how we're going to beat these Packers tonight here. So before I do final predictions, and then we're going to get out of here to give everybody some time, I got to get a couple shout outs to some people that just got here. We've got, I'm going to make sure I said it right, The Blitz Minnesota Myth. Thank you so kindly. Everybody shout out The Blitz. First timer, thank you so kindly for joining. And again, let's just hit the reset button here. I always forget to do this once I start getting on a roll. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button. And if you don't already, hit that subscribe button there as well. We'll just go at... We'll just go from that direction. But everybody give a shout out to Blitz for the first time appearance there. We got Skolden in the house. What's going on, Skolden? I appreciate you. What's going on, Yogi? Thank you so much for joining us. We got Steven in the house. What is going on? Thank you guys and gals, everybody, for joining us here tonight. Okay, final predictions, and then we'll get out of here, let you get your drink on, do some driving if you need to, and all that other good stuff. Put your final score predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. But Dave, your final score prediction.
I don't do them. I want to say the Vikings win by 2 touchdowns.
Higher scoring, lower scoring, like you think in 28-14? Okay.
No, as in, hey, let's get 30 points.
I've got the Vikings tonight. And not only do I have them winning against the Green Bay Packers, I have them winning by 3 touchdowns. I'm going 38-17. Maybe, wow. And I haven't started drinking yet. No, I have not, ladies and gentlemen. Before anybody says, how many Coors Lights have you had tonight, Justin? I have had none yet. But having said all of that, I think that you can get to Jordan Love. Now, I don't know how many Packer fans are going to be in the building. Don't have the TV on yet, so I can't see around the crowd to see how many are there and that sort of thing. But at US Bank Stadium, we should be able to get to him. Our defense, even though it has been much maligned a little bit or has come back to the pack, so to speak, no pun intended, and the fact that you don't have Byron Murphy Jr., they don't have Christian Watson. So as long as you can keep their run game in check, you should be able to hold them under 21 points. I honestly do believe that. And I probably have, again, Tyler is the president of the Jaren Mahomes Hall fan club, and I am the vice president. When we drafted this kid, I said, you know what? 1 year under Kirk Cousins, let him take over in 2024. People said, Justin, you're crazy. A 5th round draft pick. Hey, Russell Wilson was a 3rd round draft pick and he started day 1. Okay. So anything is possible, but I like this Jaren Mahomes Hall kid because he exudes leadership. He doesn't look like the moment is too big. He is loquacious. And yes, he hasn't had but 2 drives against the Atlanta Falcons as a starter. Came in relief duty for Kirk Cousins. And you know what? It was 3rd and 13, backed up against his own end zone right after having fumbled the ball. And KOC trusted him to throw the ball down the middle to TJ Hawkinson to pick up a first down to help us run out the clock. That means regardless of how KOC has been dipsy doodle and changed his mind about which quarterback gives them the best opportunity to win, I like this kid. And against this Green Bay Packers defense, I think we can put up a lot of points. And it's about daggone time that our Minnesota Vikings put up a 30-some burger against somebody. Stop keeping this game close. Go ahead.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the crowd jazzed. And I've seen on Twitter, there's hints that whoever's blowing the Gallahorn tonight is a surprise, and it will fire up the crowd.
Do you know who it is?
No, I haven't a clue. I can't wait to see it.
I thought you were putting it out there. I know who it is, and it's going to be a surprise. But okay, fair enough. Steven says from Australia. Thank you so very, very. What time is it there, by the way?
He's already in 2024.
He's already celebrated New Year's. All right, there you go. There you go. All right, there was 1 or 2 more that I saw in here. Chocolate, what's going on, Chocolate Thunder? Everybody, shout out Chocolate on the way out here. This is the first time I believe I've seen you here, so thank you so kindly for joining us here. Again, I'm Justin from Purple and Gold for Days, the channel you are tuned on. He is Dave. See, I actually got the point the right way. See, I'm not Tyler, but I digress. We got the point the right way. He is one of the co-founding members of Vikings First and SKOL, where I make some appearances on, and I do appear on their podcast feed. So if after the show, check out Vikings First and SKOL, hit the sub button there. Come on back at the 2-minute warning where Dave will be going live. And as I said earlier, hit up my boy Rap over on Purple Pocket Podcast, who's going to be doing a live watch party. All right, we'll go through these here real quick. Swerve 31-14, 24-16, 24-13, 24-21. I will take any of these scores. Funerals got us a 10-point victory. There you go. All right, SKOL TYA did confirm that the Packers would indeed be eliminated tonight with a loss. So I'll say again, let's just put them out of their misery. We got one more queen. We got Sarah. What is going on? This is the only team we can blow out. So I'm going to go crazy and say 34-13. I like it, Sarah. I like it. Skolden says 31-17. Shout out to Eric from New Mexico. What is going on, Eric? Good to see you as well. Say hello to your wife and daughter for us. He's got 28-17. Again, I like all of these. I like all of these. Tonight, I want to do the no pack, no chat to my cheese effort. You are correct. You know what? A very dear person to me, and I went to the opening game last season, the 23-7 victory, and it was great that we finally, as a fan base, know how to handle the go pack, go chant, and to turn around and yell at them and say no pack, no. It used to be where we just tried to clap and make noise to drown them out. No, you drown them out by saying something that's close enough to them that nobody recognizes what the heck that it is they are saying. One more shout out here. We got Mateo in the building. What is going on? Packers by 3. I trust KLC less than I trust Kirk. Well, there's the Mateo I know and love. I hope you are wrong, Mateo. I hope you are wrong. Any final thoughts here, my friend, before we get out of here?
Go Vikings. Let's win this game.
Absolutely. Well, we kept it under 35. I said keep it under 45, so I did. Dave, it as always is a pleasure to share the mic here with you, whether it's on my channel or over on the Vikings First and SKOL channel. Thank you so very much for the faith that you have shown in me and to help me grow the way you have over the past year or so. I very, very much appreciate on short notice that I just text you during one bar to say, hey, can you come on with me here tonight? I'm going to need a little bit of help here, and that you're always there for me. I so very much appreciate you, my friend.
Well, I'm going to look forward to hopping over and viewing Rap while I watch the game, have it on multiple places. So, and then I encourage everybody to come over to Vikings First and SKOL. We literally go live at the 2-minute warning. And we go from there. You get to watch the last 2 minutes with us. Normally, they've been cardiac games.
Ugh.
Sarah is 100% correct. This is the only team we've blown out. Let's do it again so we don't have to worry. We can react, have a good time, get our drink on, and talk how well Jaren Hall played tonight.
What a way to ring in. Any victory over the Packers would ring in the new year quite well.
Absolutely.
A victory over the Packers that eliminates them from playoff contention would be even better. One more shout out. We got Tyson. What's going on, Tyson? Thank you so kindly for joining me. If you guys didn't do so on the way in, if you could hit that like button on the way out. If you don't already subscribe, hit that subscribe button for me there as well. As I said, my prediction 38-17, a full 3 touchdown victory for your Minnesota Vikings. Jaren Mahomes Hall, for 1 week anyway, will start to look like maybe we don't need to talk about re-signing a 36-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles who's going to want a lot of money. But I digress. Thank you, as always, for joining me. SKOL to the next episode. And as Prince says, go crazy, punch a higher floor, beat the Packers. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.